So we have ourselves an interesting story to talk about, because I've been actually wanting to talk about this for a long time. I've just been kind of like, on the one hand, I've been kind of like out of it. On the other hand, I've been kind of busy and tired and blah, 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 blah. Point is, I've been kind of off for quite some time. But now I get to finally talk about this story, and this one's an actually interesting story. If you haven't heard of it, you will now. And we'll talk more about it after we read up on the story, of course. But the headline reads as this: Grandma finally beats Zelda, Twilight Princess, after 755 hours. Internet falls in love. So, the title itself speaks for itself, but we want to read the article a little bit more. I hadn't read any more except for the title itself. And mostly because of that, I really wanted to see what was going on, like how did the hours build up and stuff. So let's go ahead and look deeper. So first and foremost, story basically starts off as Reddit user u/MillerScrid, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not quite sure, has shared images and background info which tells the story of his grandmother's time with Link and Co. Link and Company, obviously. After a whopping 755 hours, she's managed to beat the final boss and complete the game. Chris says, that's apparently the user actual name, says he's incredibly proud of her and that she's absolutely loves Zelda. The Reddit post has gone on to receive upwards of 65,000 upvotes at the time of writing, which I imagine has probably went up more since then, with messages of admiration, support, and goodwill, and even a marriage proposal? Wow! just wow! Whoa! Okay, are we talking like marriage proposal for the user himself, or marriage proposal towards the grandmother? You know, that's what I'm interested in. I want to see where that comes in. But you can check it all out for yourself right here. If you like, some of it rather heartwarming to see, and the stars of the shown ever created her own Granny Great Reddit account to reply to some of them, which we will look at later on, obviously. Chris has also shared a number of text messages sent between himself and his grandmother during her playthrough. A couple of messages made us chuckle, such as, "I wonder if Nintendo give prizes for the longest time to complete Twilight Princess," and "the dragon is dead." But they also show how passionate the pair are for the game and how their relationship have benefited for the experience. Lovely stuff. So we're going to look at all this. This actually is kind of interesting, and oh my gosh, this is actually pretty long. Oh my gosh. I'm going to leave links for all this, because obviously, holy crap, there is a lot to read up. You know, if I had known that it was this big, I would have already prepped this up, but we'll kind of pick out here and see what it is. Yeah, this is actually kind of heartwarming, really, when you think about it. It's so, like, flippin' adorable just to read this and everything like that. I highly recommend you actually read the text message. I will put a link in the description for the news article, as well as the separate links, especially the Reddit post. I don't even know how to go about it. Not a lot to kind of go on. I mean, again, I don't really explore Reddit that much, so it's kind of hard to say, but overall it's very, very heartwarming at the end of the day. Again, if you want to read all of it, you are more welcome to. But I want to talk about this because there's actually quite a bit of stuff that's happened up to this point, technically, in terms of the gaming industry as a whole. So, for starters, I think a lot of us, particularly most of us who are like in our 30s now, or even in our 20s for that matter, we never thought that we would see the day where we would see elderly people, like at the age of 70, much less 80, even older than that, depending, would be playing video games. You know, we never would have imagined that. maybe they would play something cute and fun like Tetris maybe, or something like, the Wii Sports stuff and everything like that, because my grandmother actually did play Wii Sports, and it helped with her therapy and stuff. But never like of this level, like Legend of Zelda or something like that, You don't see it that often. In fact, I still remember the very first quote-unquote elderly news involving games. And particularly, it was actually on television news, actually, where this older lady, I think she was like at the age of like 85 at the time, this was a few years back, but she would play Call of Duty. Now that's right off the back, that's weird, okay? That is just plain weird for me. But she would play Call of Duty a couple hours a day. And she would actually play it online. And not to say that I think she had a following or not, I'm not sure. But she played it almost all the time, accordingly. Which is interesting. And that was like the first elderly news I had heard that didn't involve like the Wii or something like that, It was interesting to see that type of thing go on. But then things starts to go a little bit further in terms of elderly video game related subjects. Another one was that there was this elderly couple over in Britain, I imagine. I'm not sure, but the way it was read, it probably is Britain. But this elderly couple would actually play Mario Kart, and whoever lost had to go and make the tea. And to me, that's funny. That's funny and cute, because that's the type of saying that siblings would do. Like, if you lose, you have to do this or something like that. This is an elderly couple who loves video games so much that they would compete on Mario Kart to whoever loses has to make the tea. It's an interesting thing. But there's another one, and this one actually is far more heartwarming. Not to say that all of them isn't, they all are. But this one hits me the hardest the most. And it involves a game that I'm not remotely interested in. Still to a point. Basically, this elderly lady loves playing Elder Scrolls. You know the story, you probably know the follow-up, but she loves playing Skyrim, considering the fact that it's been released on multiple platforms at this point. But she loves playing Skyrim. Loves playing Elder Scrolls and stuff. Well, when Elder Scroll 6 was being announced and stuff like that, people thought that she won't be able to live long enough to even remotely play the game when it first comes out. And so the development team actually decides to take her likenesses, I imagine her looks and her name, or at least abbreviate her name or something, and put her likeness into the game. Like, how crazy is that, To get that type of, like, admiration, you love a game so much, and the development team decides to take that love that you have and put it into their newest installment of game, as if you are in the world itself. And it's like, even though you might not be able to play this game, you will actually live on in this game. And that's the crazy part. So, in a way, it's interesting to see all this news come up, It's like, for most of us, particularly in my case, when I was younger, I thought, if you hit, like, age 30 or something, by the time you got to that point, you had to stop playing video games. You had to be adult and stuff. And that's not always the case, Yes, you do have to adult, but there are times where you can have that moment and play video games, It's like for hobbyists and stuff. If you love playing Magic the Gathering, you'll play Magic the Gathering. If you love watching movies, you can go watch movies and stuff. If you are a fan of going to amusement parks, there's no reason for you not to go, because you and your child can experience that together. And to see elderly people like this, and I'm sure some of them probably didn't play the games until they were probably like maybe 40 or 50, depending. But some of them, and this is actually an interesting story, some of them are actually formal game developers. I know, because a friend of mine told me this story. He was playing, Monster Hunter World. he was playing it, and he recently got teamed up with a couple who basically share an account. They'll take turns, and they'll play Monster Hunter World. And I thought that was interesting, and the funny thing is, this couple used to work for a game development team. I don't remember what game development they were with, but they said, yeah, we developed game for so long, we love video games so much, so we never stop. You know, we never stopped playing games since we retired and stuff. And it's cool that you're never too old for this type of stuff. You're never too old to play video games. And it really hits home, you know. And I love seeing this type of stuff. I love seeing stories like this that come up from the way it works and stuff. You know, you get all these different violences, you get government blaming on video games and stuff like that, and video games get hit a lot. They do. We get hit a lot of blame. But all you have to do is show some of the more sweeter and some of the better moments of gaming, and it shows that it's not violence. It's something that brings people together. It's something that an entire community, the gaming community, enjoys. And it's moments like this that really brings the best out of us. It truly is. It's the best part of gaming. So, like I said, I urge you to read the article. I urge you to read the text messages and stuff like that, because it's all really, really sweet. I can't really name just one. I imagine the best part is where it's like towards the end. Yeah, because it shows the end where she finally beats Twilight Princess, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so sweet. Here we go. Here's a good one. I'll read this real quickly. It says here, do you suppose I would get an award for longest time ever to solve a game? I haven't stopped laughing when I swung that sword for the ending blow and the bad guy died. Sort of, at least for now. Only took 755 plus hours. Got to be a record. TX Chris. But yeah, it's like, unfortunately, I sincerely doubt that Nintendo gives out awards for the longest time period ever. If they did, I hadn't heard that. Now, I can imagine Nintendo, particularly like the president of Nintendo, might send a letter of recognition to you. Like, maybe, I don't know, Nintendo tends to do weird stuff every once in a while. Not bad weird stuff. They tend to do, like, small recognition, good stuff. Like, who knows, maybe Nintendo might use your likenesses and put it into the next Legend of Zelda game. Maybe you might get, like, a rare item that Nintendo has never released and only, like, Nintendo Club members will get or something like that. You never know. I mean, chances are something like that could happen. The likelihood of that happening, not much, but it's very, very, very sweet to see this. Plus, when you look at the image, it's insane to see the hour itself. It's just, that drives me nuts right there. It's 755. I mean, for the record. Most video games, it tends to take me over 100 hours, you know, admittedly. The only way it would take anywhere past 700 hours of gameplay is if you were playing like an MMO or something like that. And this is Twilight Princess. And again, this is, and not to poke any fun on her or anything like that, but considering the fact that, according to the text and everything like that, she had to watch a lot of tutorials, a lot of walkthroughs and stuff like that, I can only imagine that she was literally going to go for 100% completion. And that is insane, you know. It's like, imagine if she went for freaking Breath of the Wild, you know. Considering not only do you have the main quest itself, not only do you have the 120 shrines, you have all of the freaking Korok seeds. You have all the side quests. There's a lot of side quests, okay? I barely brushed it off when you think about it. I barely brushed any of the side quests. You know, I did a few, you know, just to see what it would get me. And while the rewards aren't great, I imagine if you did all of them, it would build up quite amount. Not a lot, but enough to where it does feel some form of sufficiency. It's just insane. So I hope I hear another story coming from this particular area, especially from her in general, and if she plays Breath of the Wild, which oh, gosh, that's probably going to be a good 5 years until we hear something from that. But yeah, it's just, oh my god, it's so adorable. But yeah, check this out, it's really good. I highly recommend you read the whole thing. There's a lot to talk about. But anyway though, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.